Okay, now it should be working.
Give me a minute. Yeah, we should be good here with the website. Are we good to start? Lisa, we cannot hear you.
How is it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we're ready? Lisa.
Yes, ready. Sorry.
Okay, I'm the one introducing the hearing. Okay, good morning and welcome to our Queensborough President Hybrid Land Use Public Hearing. This hearing is taking place both in person in the Borough President's Conference Room at 120-55 Queens Boulevard in Kew Gardens and on our website at www.queensbp.org. I am Vicki Garvey. I am the Land Use Director for Borough President Donovan Richards, and I will be chairing this public hearing today on his behalf. For those who wish to testify virtually and haven't already pre-registered to do so, please visit www.queensbp.org/land-use. If you are attending our public hearing in person, please see the receptionist to sign up for public speaking time if you have not already done so. Please note your opportunity to speak will follow those who are already pre-registered. Written testimony is welcome from those who are unable to testify. All written testimony must be received by 5 p.m. today and may be submitted by email to planning2@queensbp.org or by conventional mail sent to the office of the Queensborough President at 120-55 Queens Boulevard, room 226, Kew Gardens, New York 11424. I am joined today by my planning staff, Lisa Atkins and Sola Olasunde. And Lisa, will you please review how this public hearing will proceed?
Yes. The public hearing shall be conducted in the following manner. The applicant will be called to give a description of the zoning action requested, an explanation of the proposed project, and respond to any questions from the chair. The floor will then be open for public speakers. Please listen for your name to be called. Each speaker will have 3 minutes, and a signal will be heard and notice will be displayed when 3 minutes have passed. When you are called, please identify yourself for the record, and if you are formally speaking for or against an application, or you are a representative of or a member of a group. The calendar number or application you are speaking about, and whether you are for or against the item. Then you may begin your testimony. At the discretion of the chair, if there are a large number of speakers on any particular item, it may be put on second call. Speakers for and against that item will be called on an alternating basis. Please note that if you are testifying virtually, you must keep your camera on during your testimony and display your name accurately on Zoom. If at any point you have any technical issues, please let our planning staff know in the chat, and we will assist you promptly. Thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you, Lisa. You have just been advised on the proceedings of this hearing and how it will be conducted. Please keep your comments focused on the application you are speaking about, and please stay within the allotted 3 minutes. When you hear a signal, please wrap up and finish your comments. The chair reserves the right to ask speakers for clarifications or further information regarding the applications or comments. Lisa, please call the first calendar item.
Calendar item number 1 and number 2 are related items. ULURP number 230126ZMQ and ULURP number N230127ZRQ. The applicant is 30-11 12th Street Realty LLC, affected community board number 1. Applicant, please begin.
Thank you and good morning. Richard Lobel of Sheldon Lobel PC for the applicant. I'm joined from my office by Diane Baton. With us as well are Michael Beavis, the project architect and applicant's representative, as well as Noah Bernstein from AKRF. I will give a brief summary of the land use actions, and Michael will briefly discuss architectural aspects of the proposal, and then the entire applicant team is happy to answer any questions. So what you see before you is the 3011 12th Street rezoning. Next slide, please. And simply this rezoning seeks to rezone a swath of districts, including R6B, R5B, and R41 districts to R6A and R6A C23 districts. And this is along 30th Avenue. We'll take a look at the area map to show the entire length of the rezoning area. But basically this, along with a text amendment to MIH, would allow for a new 8-story building with roughly 62,000 square feet of floor area and mixed commercial and residential uses. The upper floors would have roughly 58,000 square feet of residential floor area with 80 units, of which approximately 24 would be permanently affordable pursuant to MIH option 2. There would also be roughly 4,600 square feet of retail on the ground floor and 3,200 square feet of retail storage in the cellar. Additionally, there would be roughly 41 parking spaces, divided 30 for the residential and 11 for the commercial. So the next slide kind of demonstrates the entire lay of the area. You can see from the map that the current site, which is circled, is denoted by R6B and R5B districts. But to the northwest of the site, there's an existing R6A district with a commercial overlay, kind of a triangular portion. So in discussion with city planning, it was determined that as far as the land use rationale, it would make sense for the area immediately around the site and in a rough circle to be rezoned to this R6A with a commercial overlay. And again, we'll show you the area map which follows, which demonstrates why this is appropriate. So 30th Avenue here is a wide street. There's excellent transit options at the site, including 2 bus lines that run along 30th Avenue at the site. In addition, you've got good street access along this corner. This is an intersection of streets which operates as an extra wide area before the properties. As mentioned, the R6A district already exists to the northwest of the property. So what this would allow would be to allow for some additional appropriate residential development at R6A along these corners, as well as to allow for a commercial overlay, which in certain respects will allow for existing commercial uses to become conforming. The next slide demonstrates pictures of the area. You can see the building typology. Again, the street widths here, as well as access to the sites, are very good. 5 to 6 stories exist in the immediate area and taller buildings in the further area. So really, as demonstrated before the community board, we really feel that this is appropriate, creates some nice residential use in an area where currently you have a lot of underutilized and vacant parcels, including the development site. So with that, I would hand this over to Michael, who can discuss some of the architectural aspects, and then we'll sum up and happy to answer questions. Michael?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for your time. So this lot is T-shaped, and the lot footprint is approximately 17,000 square feet with 50 feet of frontage along 30th Avenue and 100 feet down 12th Street. It's an 8-story building with a series of setbacks above the 6th floor. And again, this project will contain 80 dwelling units, 24 of which are affordable. So at the cellar, there's approximately 3,200 square feet of commercial storage with the rest back of house residential space. So in terms of resiliency and flooding, the foundation will have both wet and dry flood protection, and no critical mechanicals will be located at the cellar. They'll be located at the roof. So the ground floor consists of a corner commercial, ideally a local fresh food grocer, with the residential lobby mid-block on 12th Street, the parking entrance utilizing an existing curb cut along 12th Street, along with some accessory recreation space to the residential. The second floor is the first floor that contains dwelling units. So the second and third floor are similar and contain 13 units, mostly ones and twos with a corner 3-bedroom. The 4th through 6th floors are typical. They contain 12 units, introducing some studios, but mostly ones and twos with a corner 3-bed. 7th floor is 9 units. This is where the setbacks begin, and these are mostly family-sized 2-bedroom units. The uppermost floor contains 9 units, mostly 2 bedrooms. So the roof will include an outdoor, landscape terrace that's accessory to the residential use for recreation space. It will include critical mechanicals, and the building's also going to incorporate a number of energy and sustainability initiatives. It'll be certified by a third-party program, either LEED or Enterprise Green Communities. Building will be fully electric with LED lighting and low-flow plumbing fixtures, Energy Star appliances, and EV charging stations at the parking garage.
So, in conclusion, we feel this is a really meritorious application, given the fact that you've got vacant lots here and the opportunity really to create some nice housing with affordability in the immediate area. We note that the community board overwhelmingly supported this application, and this is really an example of really responsible potential transit-oriented development. With that, the entire applicant team is happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Sorry, we're having a bit of a feedback issue. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. I think I'm muted now, though. Can anyone hear me?
We can.
Okay, sorry. Technical difficulties. So my first question was, can you just remind me how many EV charging stations are there with this project?
The parking garage has yet to be designed. We'll bring on a parking and traffic consultant for the design. But of the 40 spots, probably a couple, probably 2.
Okay. And in the same vein as sustainability, with the landscape roof, and I'm assuming this building will be fully electric by the time it's built. Are there any other sustainability components that you could speak to with the design of the building?
Yeah, so fully electric, and that'll include high efficiency boilers and heating and cooling systems, a high performing thermal envelope with insulated windows, ventilation systems, ERV or heat recovery, using low VOC building materials. That'll include the insulation, the paint, the flooring. So a number of design initiatives.
Okay, great. And could you give a full breakdown of how many studios, 1s, 2s, and 3s bedrooms are in the project? Or even just a ballpark number?
Yes,
Sure.
there will be 18 studios, 31 bedrooms, 27 2-bedrooms, and 5 3-bedrooms.
Okay, just wanted to get a full summary of that. I just want to clarify one comment or discussion point that was at the Community Board 1 meeting on November 21st. I think there was a question about when this project would begin, depending on 421A. Can the applicant or the rep speak to that?
Yeah, so the entitlements, process is going to start as soon as possible, mid-year. Construction will start in early 2025, hopefully the end of next year, if we can get through entitlements quickly, with construction wrapping up in 2026.
Okay, understood. And Community Board One also wanted to explore the possibility of a shuttle system for the closest subway, which I believe is about a 15-minute walk away. What is the possibility of that?
Yeah, the ownership group is going to explore that possibility, similar to the Hallett's Point Durst shuttle service. The project is situated only a block away from the new ferry stop, which makes Midtown Manhattan extremely accessible. At the same cost as the subway. So they're definitely open to exploring a shuttle service.
Okay, thank you. And then last comment, I guess, and slash question, we asked this of all of our applicants. What are your MWBE and local hiring goals for this project?
Yeah, Michael, I'll just start. We're familiar, of course, with the Queensborough president's preference for local hiring as well as MWBE. I think that the 421A program carries with it certain requirements with regards to hiring, which of course by law we would comply with. But to the extent that there's additional requests of the Queensborough president, we're happy to have those and incorporate those into the project.
Thank you. And just for the record, generally those percentages that we like to see are at least 30%.
Michael, understood?
Yes. Yeah, and the ownership group has met with local community leaders and groups, Mr. Tyrone Gardner of Astoria Houses last week, and I think there's another meeting on the calendar for next week. The ownership group plans to take Mr. Gardner's youth group on a tour of a project further down Vernon Boulevard across from the Costco to, as an educational tour to show them the construction process in different stages and jobs in construction.
Thank you. And sorry, one last question, just a point of clarification. This is going to be MIH option one, is that right?
So the request is twofold. The first would be to map option one and option two as is currently requested by the application in order to allow maximum flexibility. My understanding is that the ownership group is making every attempt to utilize option one, but would want the flexibility to do option two for a few reasons. The first is that obviously with rising construction costs and the challenges in financing, they want to make sure that this project gets built. And so to allow for option two in the instance that was challenging, would allow for that. In addition, there's a number of other blocks and lots that are included in the rezoning area. So in this particular rezoning, city planning and the applicant basically felt it was important to include a lot of these properties in the immediate area and on this intersection to make sure that we have that existing context and to tie into that R6A. So the bottom line is we want to make sure that those owners similarly have flexibility for 1 and 2. And, we also know that there's currently applications under certification. My understanding is that there are Hallett's Point North, for example, where there would be, hundreds of new units coming online, including 350 units at option one. And so if that's the case, while option one is desirable and is indeed desired by the applicants, the truth is that it might be good to allow for a slightly larger range of MIH options.
Okay, understood. We can certainly talk more about that offline as well.
Sure.
So I don't have any further questions. Aldo, do you mind checking to see if we have any attendees that might want to publicly testify? If you just click on participants.
How would they be listed as attendees?
Okay. Okay, so seeing as there are no members of the public registered to testify on this item is closed, and we will move on to the next two calendar items, which are related.
Calendar items number 3 and 4, again, are related items. ULURP number 230307ZMQ and ULURP number N230308ZRQ. The applicant is Ephraim Realty LLC, affected community board number 1. Please begin.
I'm going to share my screen. Good morning.
Good morning again, Richard Lobel of Sheldon Lobel PC, joined by Alexia Landisman of my office. We are here today representing Nick Ephraim, the applicant for the project. Our architect Julio Margarino is here as well to discuss architectural aspects, and Kevin Williams from GZA Environmental can discuss any environmental considerations. So the rezoning you see before you, 2301 Steinway Street, is similarly considered at the most recent Community Board 1 hearing and was overwhelmingly approved. The next slide demonstrates the project in terms of the land use actions. So here, there is a proposed rezoning from R5D C23 and R5D to R6A C24. So this includes the applicant's block and lot, which is on block 793, lot 73 and 75, as well as the 3 facing corners of the intersection for an extent of roughly 100 by 100 feet per corner. On the applicant's site, and I apologize, it's 75 and 73, lot 75 and 73, this would result in a new 6-story, 27,000 square foot building, mixed use, ground floor commercial, and roughly 22 dwelling units, of which 6 would be permanently affordable under option 1. And so, as with other rezonings and as typical, the rezoning action would be accompanied by a text amendment to require MIH within the rezoned area. The next slide has the numbers behind the development. Again, this would be a 6-story building, which, as we'll see later in the photos and maps, is quite contextual for this area. The floor area at the site would produce roughly 27,000 square foot building at 65 feet in height with an additional bulkhead. There would be also a setback at the 5th floor of 15 feet. There would be 9 vehicular parking spaces and 11 bike parking spaces. 22 units would be produced, of which 6 would be affordable. The next slide shows the zoning map. From this zoning map, you can see that to the northwest of the site, there's existing C42A, as well as immediately to the south. And that would, what that really demonstrates is that there's an existing context here, which, includes our existing R6A. In addition to that, more recently in 2020, you can see 2 blocks or 3 blocks to the east. There is an existing R6A district that was pursuant to a rezoning of similar M11 and R5D districts. So in essence, the R6A here is entirely appropriate. The next slide is the tax map, which shows with more specificity the nature of this rezoning. And then the next slide is the area map, which really demonstrates, we think, why this has such a solid land use rationale. You can see that there are, I'm sorry, someone may need to mute. You can see that there are 2 wide streets per zoning, 80-foot wide streets in the form of 23rd Avenue and Steinway Street, which allow for great access to the sites along these corners, as well as transportation options within the area. We are within the transit zone and bus service is located nearby. So in general, we have all of the hallmarks of what appears to be a meritorious rezoning. The next slide shows the zoning change map, again, very limited in scope with R6A along the corners of these very wide streets. And the next several slides show pictures of the area. We note, I think maybe shows better on the next slide, in the one previous, in the bottom left, you can see the existing auto body shop. That's been run by Nick for, I think now over 25 years. And one of the advantages of this rezoning is that to the extent that rezonings generally seek to allow for context of the area to control and local context to control, this is a use group which is not exactly compatible with some of the surrounding residential and ground floor commercial uses. So, auto body repair considered to be more of an industrial use, while completely legitimate at the site and a non-conforming use. This rezoning, in addition to the benefits of creating new units and new affordable units, would allow for the removal of this existing non-conforming use. I think if we want to just go through the pictures, and we can end at the slide which demonstrates the first plan. Julio, if you'd like to just run through the plans and materials, then we can answer any questions.
Sure. Thank you, Richard. Hi, my name is Julio Magarino. I'm from Hill West Architects. What we have here is a site plan. It's a 6-story masonry building with double glazed, energy efficient windows. Our residential would be entered on 23rd Avenue, and our commercial would be on Steiner Street. We have roughly about 32,300 square feet of gross floor area, 27,000 square feet of zoning floor area. Next slide, please. Our proposal here is a 65-foot high building, although we can go up to the maximum building height of 85 feet. We're proposing to go up to 65 feet. There will be 4 stories of 43'6" within the R5D, and 6 stories as mentioned, and up to 65 feet. Next slide, please. Our mix here is 10 1-bedrooms, 7 2-bedrooms, and 5 3-bedrooms, which the 1-bedrooms 45%, 31% 2-bedrooms, and 22% 3-bedrooms. A total of 22 units, of which 6 would be affordable units. On the right side, we have the solid floor plan. Our entrance to the parking would be from 23rd Avenue, and we're proposing 9 parking spaces in the cellar level. Actually, we're proposing 2,800 square feet on corner of retail, residential 1,700 square feet on 23rd Avenue, and as mentioned before, our parking will enter to 23rd Avenue. On the second floor, we have a good mix of 1s, 2s, and 3s. Good size apartments ranging from 1,300 square feet of 3 bedrooms to 866, 651 1-bedrooms. Third and fourth floor, same type of mix, ranging anywhere between 784 to 1337 of 3 bedrooms, and 5 to 6. We're proposing 4 units there, and the mix follows pretty much the same size, good size apartments. Next slide, please. Our proposed development will comply with the local laws, including Local Law 97, the New York City's Climate Legalization Act, enforcing strict carbon emission targets. The development will explore the use of green roofs and other sustainable features such as solar panels, public and private terraces for the residential tenants in the building. The development will be fully electric building and have energy efficient appliances and fixtures.
Thanks,
Thank you very
Julio.
much.
Thank you. So in conclusion, we're hopeful that the Queensborough president will support what has already received the overwhelming support of Queens Community Board 1. This is a rezoning which allows for rezoning of parcels which have typically since 1961 been zoned R5 or R5D. It really has resulted in some underdeveloped lots. In truth, the situation of these parcels on these corners allows for some flexibility in terms of building height. Julio mentioned that we're able to utilize the available FAR on a 6-story building, so allowing for even more appropriate contextual development. So that's the conclusion of the presentation, and with that, we're happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. So I do want to start with the last question I'd asked. So MIH option 1, is that a similar story here as the previous application, or are you confident in mapping option 1 here?
So, while we do like to maintain flexibility, Nick, I understand that conversations with the community were that we would be utilizing option 1. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So yeah, the discussion with the community board was that we would utilize option 1, which would result in 6 of the 22 units being permanently affordable.
Excellent. That's great news. And again, last question that we ask of all our applicants, the MWBE and hiring goals.
Of course, we've discussed this as an applicant team, and again, slightly different from other applications considered today in that we haven't secured 421A relief. But having said that, we're happy to comply with the borough president's goals. I would note that Nick is a longstanding resident as well as business owner in the area, having been here for, Nick, I think over 50 years.
I was born here.
Oh, he was born here. So without going into how old he is, it's been a while, and Nick has excellent context in the area, and relationships with businesses in the area. So particularly in terms of local contracting help, he's well connected and happy to comply with minimum requirements.
Great, thank you. And again, just for the record, 30% is usually our minimum, but we always look forward to, exceeding the minimum as well, so. Again, Aldo, do you mind checking? Okay, so no members of the public have registered to testify on this item, so I will close this item. And we will move on to the next calendar item.
Calendar item number 5, ULURP number 240068 PCQ. Applicant is New York City Department of Environmental Protection and NYC Department of Citywide Administrative Services. Affected Community Board number 2. Applicant, you may begin.
Hello. I want to say thank you to Vicki and the Borough President's Office for the opportunity to present the proposed relocation of DEP's laboratories to 2402 49th Avenue in Long Island City. We'd like to start by introducing ourselves, then discuss the project and its background, touch on the schedule, and then field any questions that you have. I'm Terrell Estison, Director of Wastewater Review and Special Projects at DEP's Bureau of Environmental Planning and Analysis. I'm joined today by Mario Bruno, DEP's Assistant Commissioner for Intergovernmental Affairs, Sue Dennis, the Director of DEP Facilities Management and Construction, Paul Bellick, Director of Real Estate and Space Management, Naomi Wolfgang, the Land Use Coordinator for Facilities Management and Construction, as well as Chris Campbell of DEP's consultant, Hazen and Sawyer. DEP is co-applicant on this ULURP with the Department of Citywide Administrative Services, and we want to thank them as well as the Department of City Planning for their help with this project. So for project background, we want to start by saying that DEP's mission is to enrich the environment and protect public health for all New Yorkers by providing high-quality drinking water, managing wastewater and stormwater, and reducing air noise and hazardous materials pollution. DEP's laboratories play a key role in this mission by analyzing the quality of drinking water, gauging the effectiveness of wastewater treatment, demonstrating the strength of materials used in our capital program, and analyzing asbestos, oil blends, and air samples. So an introduction to the project. DEP is proposing to relocate our testing laboratories from our LaFrac City Plaza headquarters, as well as labs at the Wards Island and Newtown Creek wastewater resource recovery facilities, to Long Island City. The proposal requires uniform land use review procedure, ULURP approval in the form of a combined site selection and acquisition. The application was certified to begin review on September 11th, 2023. So the proposed laboratory site is at 2402 49th Avenue, also known as the Bridge or the NYCHA building. It's in an M14 zoning district and is tax block 71, lot 7501. DEP is proposing to enter into a 20-year lease, and that lease would include a vehicle storage or parking facility for fleet vehicles at 2520 Borden Avenue, tax block 68, lot 55, which is in an M32 zoning district. Both sites have existing buildings and the uses are allowed as of right. There's no zoning amendment associated with the proposal. Here's a picture showing the current location of our main laboratories. It's on the top floor of the low-rise building at our LaFrac City Plaza headquarters. Although it's a laboratory, it has coexisted with our own offices for many years, and there are also residential neighbors nearby on two sides. The two smaller labs would be relocated from our wastewater resource recovery facilities in order to realize an economy of scale with the new and improved facilities. Here's a slide that shows the locations of all of the facilities. On the right, blue star shows that main laboratory at our current headquarters, where several of the bureaus operate. At the top left, the blue star shows the wastewater laboratory at the Wards Island wastewater treatment plant. And the lower left blue star shows the wastewater lab at the Newtown Creek wastewater resource recovery facility. And the green star shows the location of the proposed laboratory. The proposed laboratory would support functions of 4 of DEP's bureaus: the Bureau of Water Supply, which does drinking water quality testing; the Bureau of Wastewater Treatment, which analyzes influent and effluent samples at the wastewater treatment facilities; the Bureau of Environmental Compliance, which does air quality and asbestos testing; and the Bureau of Engineering, Design, and Construction, which conducts materials testing for construction projects. The existing lab space can no longer support operations well due to insufficient space, lack of storage space for supplies, insufficient electrical power, and aging building infrastructure. So DEP's seeking approximately 157,110 square feet of space, consisting of the 5th floor and about half of the 6th floor of the building, as well as a portion of the loading dock space at 2402 49th Avenue. DEP's requirements for the workspace include independent HVAC systems, sufficient power for lighting and ventilation, emergency power, workspace for 152 employees, loading dock access, parking for DEP fleet vehicles, as well as good access to the street and transit network. We'll describe parking in more detail later, but the building has room for 9 DEP vehicles to park on site in the 3 bays along 50th Avenue, while the remainder would be at the Borden Avenue site. The relocation was in the 2023-24 and the 2024-25 citywide statement of needs. Due to the addition of wastewater labs relocating from Wards Island and Newtown Creek wastewater resource recovery facilities and a change in the total square footage, a 204G letter was sent in August prior to certification. And here we've got some pictures. This slide shows what the inside of DEP's labs look like. These pictures are from our labs in Hawthorne, New York. Here's a bird's eye aerial of the laboratory facility showing where the staff entrance would be on 49th Avenue and where the loading dock access and parking for the 9 vehicles would be on 50th Avenue. Here's a ground view of the front of the building showing the staff entrance in an orange arrow. And we'd like to touch on the environmental components of the project. The Community Board recommendation included a stipulation that DCAS negotiate green improvements to the building by its owner. We understand this request and we do strive to develop in environmentally sound ways when we do construction. In this case, we're constrained because we'll be leasing the space within an existing building, and further, the lease is actually between the city and a condo owner rather than between the city and the underlying property owner. That said, there are environmental elements to the project which will be employed, including the use of environmentally preferable purchasing program, compliance with local law 57 for water efficiency, compliance with local laws 86, 31, and 32 regarding lead design, bike storage, EV chargers for the fleet, variable volume fume hoods for efficiency where the testing type allows, and installation of triple glaze windows for energy efficiency. As mentioned before, the lease would include a DEP fleet storage facility at 2520 Borden Avenue for parking of DEP vehicles. These are mostly Priuses, small cars. We would use approximately 23,775 square feet of this site, consisting of the colorfully painted western portion of the property. This site, which is 0.3 miles or an approximately 5-minute walk from the laboratory, would provide space for 23 cars. The site would have 24-hour secure access and would help ensure DEP cars do not take up street parking. The overall number of vehicles assigned to lab staff is 32. 9 can park at the laboratory building, and the other 23 would park here. Project schedule. We met with Queens Community Board 2 Environmental Committee in April of this year to present the project. After that, we worked with DCAS and DCP on the ULERP materials and prepared an environmental assessment statement for seeker based on the environmental review. DEP issued a negative declaration in August that found the project would not have any significant environmental impacts. The ULERP application was certified into public review by the City Planning Commission in September. We presented to the Community Board 2 Land Use and Housing Committee on October 18th, as well as the full board on November 2nd, and we received the Community Board recommendation to approve on November 3rd, which brings us before you here at the Borough President stage. We anticipate moving through the remaining steps of ULERP review for completion around March of next year. And we hope to be moving into the facility around November of next year. And with that, we'd like to thank you again for your time and for this opportunity, and to respectfully invite any questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that comprehensive presentation, and thank you for touching on the Board 2 condition of negotiating any kind of green improvements here. I understand as a leasing, it's hard to negotiate things like that, but I do appreciate the attention to detail for this particular project. I only have one question at this point. Does the city, either DEP or DCAS, have any plans for the buildings that will be vacated by Newtown Creek, LaFrac City, and on Ward's Island?
This is Sue Dennis speaking. On Ward's Island, the labs are housed in old trailers, which we are hoping to get rid of, and also in an administrative building, which is totally unsuitable to their usage. So we would be rethinking the position there, probably making it into an administrative building rather than a lab. As far as the space in the LeFrak building is concerned, we will be turning that into office space and seating space from within the high rise at 5917 Junction Boulevard and moving into the space at 9605 that will be vacated by the labs.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to confirm the future of those sites. So do we have any members of the public sign up to testify on Zoom? No. Okay, so with no members of the public signed up to testify, both virtually and in person, we will close this item and we will close this hearing. So I want to thank all the applicants for showing up today. Our next scheduled hybrid land use public hearing is Wednesday, not Thursday, Wednesday, December 13th, 2023, starting at 9:30 a.m. And if anyone would still like to deliver written testimony, you are welcome to do so by 5 p.m. today. Just look at the beginning of this video for the contact information. Otherwise, thank you and have a great day.